Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Clutch Conversations. It's your boy Mike. We back at you one more again, live on a Thursday night. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. We back in the building. Appreciate everybody coming out, checking us out tonight. We got a dope show. We got the homie Jay from JLP Morphs in just a few minutes. But first and foremost, you know how we do. Big shout out to my lovely wife, Takara. Appreciate everything you do. Y'all make sure y'all show her some love in the comments and don't stop there. Show the channel some love as well. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and smash that notification bell so you can get notifications each and every time we drop a video here on the channel. Make sure you show the channel some love. Let's handle some housekeeping stuff real quick. Like, where can you find us? You can find us on Morph Market. Definitely check out the store. Been posting animals all this past weekend and this week. Got some dope stuff on there. Definitely check it out, man. If you see something you like, feel free to reach out with any questions. Definitely taking offers unless it says otherwise, but definitely check us out on Morph Market. Also, check us out on IG. You can find us at Herp Collectors and Herp Collectors Network. Make sure you're following both pages. And then check us out on Facebook as well at Herp Collectors on Facebook, and Clutch Conversations, as well as all the shows on the Herp Collectors Network, is available on all major podcast platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and more. And definitely when you're checking us out on your favorite podcasting platform, please be sure to follow, rate, and review. Really helps us out. We appreciate the support. And definitely check us out, clutchconversations.com. Just dropped the blog last week. Super dope. Got a lot of good feedback on that blog. Definitely go check that out if you missed it. And then we went live with another blog earlier this afternoon. So definitely go check out the website, clutchconversations.com. Let me know what you think, man. And definitely sign up for the blog and all that good stuff so you can get it delivered right to your inbox. If you're in this reptile hobby in any shape, form, or fashion, make sure you're supporting both USARK and USARK Florida. The link for both organizations is in the description of this video, man. So definitely make sure you're supporting them, man. If you're not a member, you need to be a member. They got memberships at all price points. So definitely, man, whatever you can do, it really helps, man. It's important to have the money and it's important to have the numbers. So definitely, man, support USARK in any way that you can, and make sure all your folks who in this community know about USARK and USARK Florida. And we got a super cool episode of Double Clutch coming at you this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're doing Top Morphs, Dead and Alive. It's a two-part series. The first part we're doing dead. The second part we're doing alive. It's going to be a real dope conversation, man. We got some criteria that we're using to determine each of our respective top 5 lists. Definitely make sure you tap into that, man. It might be some folks mad at us, but we ain't trying to hurt no feelings. We're just saying what we feel. If you're not in the Double Clutch Patreon, make sure you join the Double Clutch Patreon, man. It's popping, man. We actually changed some things on it too. So we changed over to a store credit model instead of the tiered discount model. So basically everything that you pay into the Patreon goes towards store credit for purchases of animals. Me and the homie Matt splitting the credits 50-50. So half go to me, half go to him. Definitely check out the Patreon. We just added another Zoom call. So we're going to do 3 monthly Zoom calls. So we added that other one so we can get the other folks on the other tiers on those Zoom calls as well. The Zoom calls are a lot of fun, man. We want to make sure everybody had that experience. And we made a couple more changes, man. It's been super dope. We had a bunch of people join these past few days. Definitely tap in with the Double Clutch Patreon family. This Monday, we got the homie Ro with Chondro Corner. He got Bill Hoffman, Country Boy Chondros in the building. It's going to be a super dope episode. Definitely looking forward to that. Roll 1/2 of the Chondro Corner Dynamic Duo. Definitely going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you tap into that this Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then coming up on Tuesday, we got the return of Retic Rundown. We got Dax, Tay, and Joe in the building. And they actually got 3 guests coming on, man. It's a super dope format. If you didn't catch the 2024 wrap up for Retic Rundown, go check that out so you can hear a little bit more about what the format of Retic Rundown is going to be going forward. Is really dope. And make sure you tap in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. I really love what they're doing. It's going to be a super dope episode, so make sure you check that out. Also, we got coming soon, we got Morph Map with Tommy from Inky Clouds and the homie Brian from Heathen Hatchery. And it was super dope hanging out with your homie. If you're in the chat right now, man, or if you're hearing this later, man, it was super dope hanging out with you this past weekend, tapping in and having some good conversation, man. But Morph Map coming soon, man. It's going to be a super dope show. And then we want to announce Grow House. We got Veronica. You may remember her from the Palm Street episode. And then if you're on Palm Street, she might be like your person of contact over there at Palm Street. But Ivy Plants is her company, and she's doing a lot in the plant space. It's really kind of like a natural kind of crossover between the plants and the reptiles. I really like the concept for this Grow House show. Grow House going not only talk about plants, but it's also going to talk about personal growth, where people telling like stories of their personal growth and things that they've had to overcome, whether that be like drug abuse or mental health issues, just you name it, man. It's going to be a lot of inspiring stories on this podcast. So definitely make sure you tap into that. It's coming soon. We got details coming for you in the very near future. And then also, man, Southeast Reptile Expo, Atlanta, Georgia, February 15th and 16th. Man, it's going to be super, super, super dope, man. Can't wait for this one. This is the second time that Bob has done this show. Definitely looking forward to it, man. We're doing the podcast from there. We're going to have some super dope vendors. I mean, we got Ancestral Royal Pythons, Armless Angels, Ball Pythons, of course, Ball Python Shed and Bob's Balls. We got High Desert Pythons, KINOVA, Leviathan Snakes, Watermorph, Constrictors, and more. It's going to be a super dope vibe doing the podcast. The homie Keys doing the podcast from there as well, man. So definitely going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be the place to be, Atlanta, Georgia, February 15th, February 16th, man. It is you must not miss this show. If you got the opportunity to go, definitely tap into this show. If you can't go, definitely tap into the podcast, man. Like I said, I'm going to be doing the podcast live on location, as well as the homie Keys is also going to be doing the podcast live on location. It's going to be super dope, man. Looking forward to that. Hey, we're going to pay some bills real quick, and then after that, we'll be right back. Start the new year off right and join KINOVA's Patreon today, unlocking hundreds of hours of exclusive educational content designed to help you run a successful ball python business. Get insider information on the latest genetics, hot new combos, and market trends, enjoying guidance from the world's leading ball python designer. From clutch cuttings, morph IDs, exclusive giveaways, live discussions, and more, the KINOVA Patreon has what you need. Memberships are currently available up to the VIP tier, a tier that includes a 15% discount on all animals.
Art comes in many forms. At Armless Angels, it comes to life.
In life, success doesn't come to you. You go to it. In this game, forward thinking is the key to innovation and staying relevant. Plan your work and work your plan. Lose yourself in the art. Lose yourself with Wetter Morphs. Big shout out to the sponsors. Big shout out to the sponsors. All three of those gentlemen will be in Atlanta this weekend. I mean, not this weekend, but February 15th and 16th vending. So make sure you check them out. Let's see who we got in the chat. We got the homie, Double Clutch Patreon member, Big Vinny. What's good, man? Appreciate you coming out. We got James in the building. What's good? JNS Exotics. We got the Sultaness of Support, Shauna. What's good? Appreciate you coming out. We got the Sultan of Support. What's good, homie? The homie Bosa in the building. Got my cousin in the building. What's good, Fred? Appreciate you coming out. Solo Big Mike. What's good, homie? Appreciate you coming out. Another Double Clutch Patreon member, Herp Collectors Network member, Big Brian 352, Heathen Hatchery in the building. Appreciate you coming out. K and D Reptiles in the building. What's good? What's good? Appreciate you coming out. We got the homie Keys in the building, Whiskey Bomb Network. Make sure you tap it in with the Whiskey Bomb Network. James, what's good? See you again. We got Steven from S&K Exotics in the building. We got Jamie from Morphforge in the building. And then we got Double Clutch Patreon member numero uno in the building. Very first to join the Patreon. Got Kurt from Irresistible Pythons. And then we also got the homie Troy, Balls and Strikes Pythons in the building. Gang, what's good, Banner? Appreciate you coming out, sis. And we're going to stop it right there. We're going to kick this intro video, and then we will be right back.
Baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor, I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lady, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up. This cool. Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this?
Episode 157, JLP Morphs. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Good. What's up, man? Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, man. 2025. Live in 2025.
We made it. We're doing something right.
Your week been going pretty good, man?
Yeah, man. Everything's been great. What do you think of the setup, man? My wife let me borrow her nice comfy couch at the office.
Yeah, I was just about to say, man, I see you with the setup, man. Super chill, super relaxed. I like it.
A lot of work.
Got the backdrop.
Yeah. I had to set something up. Otherwise, it'd be a huge conference table.
Always be Brandon.
That's how you get out there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
Pass out stickers, I would.
Say again?
If I could pass out stickers, I would, man. Like the greeter at Walmart when you walk by my booth.
Nice, man. So how many podcasts have you been on? Have you been on a bunch of podcasts?
This is my first.
Oh, this is your first one?
At the show. This is the first time like this.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
I'm a rookie.
Man.
I'm to be here, man. I'm glad it was you.
Yeah, I know. I really enjoyed talking to you at the show, man. So I really hate asking like this super duper basic question, man, or telling people to introduce themselves, but just so everybody know, man, kind of give us your elevator speech.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Jay Baker from Camden, South Carolina. JLP is Jay, Lizzie, and Peyton. That's basically me, my wife, and our oldest, Peyton.
Okay.
Who got started in this, along with Troy from Balls and Strikes. Those two got together, and now here I am. So, I mean, we always kind of throw it out there, small town. There's 7,000 people or so in this little town, but a lot of ball python people in the area, a lot of good local businesses. So, man, It's thrilled, man. I love the hobby. We jumped in, been in it for about 5 years now. Hopefully we'll just keep on growing, man. So I'm super excited to be here. Love
So
it every day.
So were you into reptiles and stuff before kind of get into it from a business perspective, or did you just kind of go all in like I did?
So I've always been into lizards. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I was terrified of snakes. I was terrified. October of 20, we went to buy an aquarium from a dude on Craigslist. Just happened to be Troy. We go to his house, buy an aquarium for our bearded dragon. You just, you know how they are, man. One day you turn around and they're that big. And he's like, y'all want to see some snakes? And I said, nah, man, I'm good. And my wife and daughter said, yeah, we do. He took us back to the HQ, and I was like, you gonna hold one? Man, I'm not gonna wimp out with my girls there, you know. So I hold the snake. I thought he was gonna bring a little baby, dude. He throws a 3,500 gram monster female in my hand, and wound up buying our kid a normal, you know, and she turned into a teenager. You know how that went. So we started taking care of her. Man, fell in love. You know, had a couple pets, and during COVID, you know, kind of seeing where the industry was. We were visiting the shows and realized even when people weren't going out, man, you go to the shows, a really good vibe. I mean, we were all masked up. You really couldn't see anybody's face, but you could tell they were smiling, man. Everybody was happy. But there might be something to this, you know? We never came into it with the idea like, thanks, I'm going to get rich. I'm going to buy these beach houses. I'm going to do, which is great if you do that, man. All the luck in the world to you. But we were always kind of realistic, like, you know, let's just make some stuff we like. And yeah, we went all in. Don't get me wrong. We don't do anything halfway. So we grew pretty fast and keep growing and hope to keep on growing. You know what I mean? So why do something halfway, man? You only get one round.
Oh, bit facts, man. You got to go all in. Yeah. I know we got into like the whole planning to be a breeder aspect like pretty quickly. Like first it started as like a few pickups, and then like it just really kind of snowballed from there. It's actually funny. I think it was last night maybe. For some reason I was looking back through some old texts and I came across a text message where I had like sent a message to like a breeder, and this was like early on when I first got in. So this was like early 2020. And I was just like looking at some of the questions that I was asking. I was like, oh man, that's so embarrassing. Yeah, like just some of the craziest stuff. But then I thought about it. I was like, no, man, it's not really embarrassing. It's just reflective of like how far you've come over the last several years.
Yeah, I remember I used to track sheds. I'm like, how many times does this snake shed today? You know, did she poop? Got her. Trust me, I was that guy too. My wife, like, every day we're walking in, oh, she's in shed. Let's count how many days it takes for this one, you know? So, man, I can tell customers all the time, there's never a bad question, just one not asked, you know? Maybe don't ask it 4 times, but hey, ask me until you know, no problem. I used to repeat all the time. Troy got a lot of calls from me back in the day, man. Troy, Bob, you name it. I'm like, man, what is this crap? So, but they've been good to us, man. The thing about our industry, right? There's always an answer. And 99% of the time, everybody's going to be cool about it, you know? So.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the questions I asked, because I had them in like this one room in my house at first. And so I text the breeder and I was like, hey, I want to work out in this room too. Is it going to stress the snake out?
I asked them if loud music would bother them. I was like, is music and loud TV going to bother them? My dog barking? They're like, man, they can't hear you like that. So I'm like, all right, yeah. Like, so we did it. Now, as long as you're not working out with them around your neck, I think you're going to be all right.
Yeah, I think you'll be straight.
So we got to start at the same time. I think
right? Maybe fine. Say again?
You got to start right before me. 2020, I think we jumped in right at end of 20, early 21.
Okay, end of 20, early 21.
22 was our first breeding season, so we produced our first clutch March of 22.
Okay.
And there's been a lot since then. Let's put it that way, you know.
So was it just really kind of like seeing the environment at the shows and stuff like that really like kind of pushed y'all over? Or was it something else that was kind of pivotal that made y'all say, hey, we want to do this and pursue it as a business?
I mean, to be honest with you, yeah, I mean, like my wife runs a business, you know, she's a financial advisor, so she's super busy. I run a shop, you know, so it wasn't the fact that we're like, oh, let's go in this and make all this money. Man, it was just incredible. We wanted to make these cool snakes. Like I said, I visited with Troy a lot, went to a show, got to meet Bob Boo, got to meet guys like, you know, back in the day, Steve Casino, Bob Boo, all these guys that were in the Southeast, you know, that were really doing their thing. And, man, you go to the table, it's all these cool combinations and colors. And I was like, you know, I want to make this stuff. And my wife was right there with me, you know. And then Troy took us to Tinley Park, you know, that year too. And let me tell you, I walked immediately. I started just excited sweating immediately. So we did a lot here. I think we bought probably, after our first 5 snakes, we probably bought another 40 or 50 right after. They're all babies, you know? And then I was like, man, it's going to take a long time to grow these guys up. And then, yeah, breeding kind of came into it. Want to see what we can make some cool stuff. Don't go wrong. The extra money's great. It's the only hobby. I always tell people it's the only pet you can really get into is going to pay for itself. And maybe something else, you know what I mean? But yeah, just excited, man. Every time we walk in, every time we make a new baby, it's exciting.
So some of those initial pickups, because you said you picked up like 40, 50 originally, like were they project focused or were you just kind of like picking up random stuff?
So the first few we picked up were just something we wanted, you know, like we got that normal for my daughter. I think my wife ordered probably the most expensive bell I ever seen at the time. I think it was a Super Mojave. It was $600 or something back in the day because she wanted an all white snake, like so many new people, right?
Oh,
we bought a boa. We bought a boa. You know, we're like, oh, this boa is cool. It's not going to get big. It got big, by the way. Got huge.
Oh yeah. Boas get big.
Yeah, so she's living in Texas. Too big for me. And then, you know, and then yeah, we got kind of bought the pies, the bananas, all the cool bright stuff, you know. And then I remember the first time I was talking to Troy and Bob, and that's when Desert Ghost was really blowing up. I was like, man, let me get a Desert Ghost pair. So that's when we really started buying into the projects. It's not necessarily everything that everybody else was making. We still bought what we liked at the time. Like we figured if we like it, maybe other people will. So yeah, and a little bit of both. We still liked it, but maybe down the road we can make some cool animals, some cool money with it, you know? And then my wife had good ideas. I should have listened to her, especially at Tinley Park. We walked by a little table, and there's this girl, she's got these jeans. It's called Puzzle. So she was selling a visual and a head for $1,500. And I told my wife, like, man, that's a dumb project. Let's not buy that. You know? Let's just keep on walking. I think I went down the way and I bought a black pastel hypo and something else. And by the way, 3 years old, she's finally starting to breed now. That's how great of an eater this girl was. So that was a good idea. But lo and behold, now years later, I've spent a ton of money in the puzzle gene. And my wife, because you remember those puzzles we saw? I'm like, yeah, babe, I got you. I remember. There was an OD puzzle and some nice stuff she had, man. Like she had really kind of started off. And
who was the breeder?
She probably knows the name. I'm horrible. I can't remember her, but I know she told she was one of the people that her and her husband had kind of got into it early, you know? Because think about that was what, mid-21? You'd never seen it then, you know? But I should have listened. Man, I bought a bunch of clown stuff. You know, that's when clown, everybody was spending. I was buying albino clowns left and right, all sorts of stuff, man. Not puzzle. Should have listened. But
yeah, I slept on puzzle at first too. But it's definitely a gene with a ton of potential, in my opinion.
I mean, we've got it. That's one of my big projects, by the way, the Ultramel Puzzle Project.
Okay.
So I got into that. Josh Lambert, Ball Python Shed. Josh got me into that. You know, he's been really good to me, man. I know a few other people that are doing it. And all that stuff's finally breedable, so I'm trying to put it together now. I've got some puzzle clown stuff that's pretty cool too. I picked up and I know a lot of people, man, that's debatable. They don't like the way it looks. I think there's something's going to come out. It's going to look nice, man. I put that puzzle Ultramel clown together. I think it's going to look really good. And then puzzle.
Nice.
And I mean, yeah, there's a lot. So yeah, we're working it, man. I mean, it's definitely one I'm excited about. I'll tell you that. Still, throwing some. Look at that sunset puzzle Brock made. You can't tell me that the animal. I mean, the two he made were incredible. You know, and that's another big project I'd like to get into. But yeah, slept on it. Maybe shouldn't have. I slept on a lot of stuff. I slept on Sunset a little while. I slept on Ultramel. Like I said, I put so much money in the clown and everything else. Now we kind of diverted that around a little bit, you know. But we got a lot of stuff to make.
You got a lot of what?
We got a lot of stuff to make now, man. So it's gonna be a busy season.
So it sounds like Lizzie was in like from the jump, like she was just on board fully with it.
She, to be honest with you, if she wasn't in there with the baby, I'd bring her in because she was really the pioneer. I mean, she was the one that kind of had the ideas. She's the one that came up with the logo. She kind of initially put forth the first investment towards the business. I mean, she bought the first animals. She loves snakes. Like, she loves reptiles. She loves spiders. She loves everything, man. I mean, if you came to our house, it is definitely a zoo. I mean, crested, leopard, you name it, we got it all. You know, it's like a lot of people. But yeah, she is the reason why we're doing it. That's for sure.
So what all animals do you have?
Crested geckos, leopard geckos, some West Indian geckos, you name it, man. I call them howler monkeys. They screech at you when you go near them. And they're great. She's got a bunch of tarantulas, which I'm not a spider dude. I'm cool as long as they don't get out, man. Like, I think they're beautiful. I'll toss something at them to feed them, but nah, they get out, I'm leaving the house. Got spiders praying, man. It's just, we got 3. The reason why we're not in my house right now is we have 3 7-month-old giant standard poodles that would be literally all on the screen.
Gotcha.
They heard my voice, said, let me know there's another dude in the house. So yeah, that's why we're at the office. It's never quiet there, man. But yeah, we got all that stuff. I mean, got a couple hairless rat pets, you know, Chinese crested, you name it, man. We got some animals. So, and some cats, which is great because I'm allergic, but we still got some cats. They're cool. I don't worry about it, man. But a zoo. I mean, Troy's been to the house. If you ever ask him about the house, he'll tell you it's busy. It's all day. People ask you what you do during the day. We clean house. Lots of counter wiping. You know, a lot of dusting, man. But hey, it is what it is. My kids like it.
How many animals in total?
Well, if you count the ball python, probably 400 plus.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we're over 300 ball pythons right now.
Okay.
With the babies, I think so. A little 400. We're gonna need a bigger house. That's for sure. We're not counting rats, all right? You know that feeders.
Yeah, I don't count the rats either. Or we actually breed ASFs, but yeah, I don't count them. At least not by number. No, when people ask about like what our species we got, I'll throw the ASFs in there, but I definitely don't count them by number. I count what I pull, but that's about it.
That's because you know what you got to feed this week. Yeah, we do ASF too, ASF, rats, and mice. So just don't tell my neighborhood. Got to send that fan on late at night, you know.
Yeah. So talk about y'all's routine, especially like with having so many animals, and I'm sure you're like working and stuff like that, and then you also been in the show. So kind of talk about like your standard routine, and then how that, because I know for me, whenever I go out of town to do a show, like everything's just out the window and kind of have to catch up. So talk about that a little bit.
It's pretty much like that. Every time we're out of town for a show, we have someone we pay to watch the house. They make sure the rats are fed and watered. You know, I've got a couple friends, if they're not vending, then they'll check on my clutches for me if I got something coming. But yeah, it is always busy. I mean, you wake up in the morning, first thing I know I do, we're checking incubator, checking poles, you know, pairings, typical stuff, right? And then we have a 20-month-old too. So, you know, when we're not running around with her, you know, we work. I'm an hour from home, so by the time I get home, 6:30, 7 o'clock, have dinner, the little one goes to bed, and then that's it, man. We're taking care of animals till midnight, 1 o'clock. But it's not bad. Like last night, I was ultrasounding. First of the month, I don't know if you do that. I try to get it around the first of the month every time to stay on point with the ultrasounds. I got about half my collection done last night. It was about 1 o'clock when we got done. So we got another half to do tonight. But
you guys tag team the ultrasound?
Usually, depends. Like last night, I kind of started on a little early while the little one's asleep, and then if I'm ultrasounding, she takes care of the other animals, you know. And we got dumpy frogs too. I forgot about, you know, white street frogs, but she's in there feeding frogs and feeding lizards and doing all that stuff, man. So I did the ultrasound last night by myself, but she likes it. She enjoys it. It's always nice to see some balls, you know.
So like with managing that, I imagine sometimes it can be stressful sometimes, because I know personally, like for me, like sometimes it can be stressful, it can be a lot, and so you kind of got to find ways to like manage that stress and just make sure you're not overloading yourself. Do you ever feel like any of that stress?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody probably goes to those days where everybody, and I speak for ourselves, you know, we all have the day like, hey, should I downsize? Should I get out? Should I sell? What should I do? You know, life would be easier without it, right? That's the way you look at it. Like I could just be sitting here watching the game right now, watching a movie. But then, you know, then you pop out that snake you've been working at for 2 years, like that gene, you hit it, and you're like, man, this is great. Like my wife just hit some really nice stuff that she's been working on for a while. And it's all about balance, man. You know, you have to have an open mind when you come into this. So I tell people all the time in my job, you know, I'm a shop manager, but every day they add more responsibility. And I explain to them, this doesn't change what I have at home. When I have a show, it's the show, you know, that's what we prepare for. That's what we do. So you got to love it, man. If you don't love it, you're just in it for the money. And a friend of mine, Matt Schiffler from American Made Exotics, are you familiar?
Yeah.
Matt's been in the business a long time, you know, and he made a comment the other day that it's feast or famine. You know, lately people they've been struggling. It's been more of a famine, but the feast is going to come around, you know. And I'm okay with that, man. You might not sell. I might not be selling $10,000 animals, but I'll sell $10,100 animals. We'll still make it, you know. Got to feed them. You know, that's always my biggest concern is I don't want to grow to the point where I can't feed my animals properly. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
The rodents are a full-time job if you do it like that.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time and say this all the time. Like, if you like solely in it for the money, then you setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment. Not saying that you can't make money, not saying that there's not ROI, but there's going to be times where the money might not necessarily be where you want it. And if the only thing that's driving you is the money, once like that work and kind of like that stress and like all those chores and tasks and stuff like that stuff add up like with the quickness. And so once all that stuff start piling up and you just in it for the money and then the money ain't there, it's easy to turn around and walk off. You know what I mean? So it can't just be the money. Like, you got to have some kind of love, some kind of passion, some kind of dedication to what you're doing that's not financially driven.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the way it is. I mean, we love it. We do. I mean, every aspect of it. Like I told you, I'm not a fan of the arachnids or anything like that, so I don't want to breed them. If my wife wants to, I'm like, that's a great idea, whatever you say. No problem with that. But for the time being, I mean, we kind of slimmed it down a little bit. We've done some leopards, some cresteds, things like that. But I'm okay just doing ball pythons, man. We thought about doing boas. I bought Troy. I think Troy's probably still on here. Troy had some boas he was going to breed. We bought them from Troy. We were going to do that, but then we got pregnant, had the little one. She started pulling tubs, and then boas, man, when they get big, they get hungry. So we're down to one. We're not breeding her. Let's put it that way, you know.
Okay.
We're just kind of focused on just the ball pythons on the snake aspect of it. Thought about hognose. I don't know how you feel about those, man. Man, they're tough. Cool, but for me mentally, I can't take on that right now. So that's where that balance kind of comes in, you know.
Why do you say they're tough?
Well, just for me to take on another species, you know, a lot of people say, look, it's not this. You read all this stuff about it, like, are you broodmating? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? I know guys like, man, I just throw them in the refrigerator. I'm like, I can't throw an animal in the refrigerator. Like, what if I forget about them, you know? So, and I don't know. We bought a sambo, and the sambo is awesome. I was like, maybe we should breed sambos. But for now, I think I'm just going to stick to ball pythons, you know? It's a lot. Like you said, the chore is a lot. I mean, they don't take up a lot of space, you know. When you talk to people, they think you got snakes just crawling around your house, you know.
Oh yeah, that's what they say in their head.
Yeah, they're like, man, I would never visit your house. I'm like, great, you weren't invited, but you know, come on by. You know? Like you never see them unless you go looking for them. You know, but it's all about balance, man. And right now we're pretty good. You know, like I said, I got a 20-month-old. She's walking, talking. Got that teenager who she's starting to drive soon. So I mean, life is full. Your heart's full at the same time. So God is good, man. He takes care of us, you know, gives you what you can handle. And my wife, I wish she was in here right now because she would tell you right now she does 85% of the hard work. I promise. She does, man. She schedules the shows. She schedules the hotels, handles all that stuff, you know. She reminds me I don't know if you do this with your show babies, but we feed our show babies frozen thawed for the pet level. So when they get to that pet, 99% of people aren't going to come in and want live rodents in the house, man. So she takes care of all that. So I feed them, and then she transitions them. She spends the time and does all that. And if I didn't have her, I couldn't get through it by myself. I'll tell you that. You know, you always thank your wife because you know how important it is.
Oh yeah, it's super important, man.
The bigger you go up in level, I think you can't afford employees. You need a good partner, and I can't afford employees right now.
100%, man. I definitely can do this without the help of both my wife and my son. I have to pay him though.
Yeah. He's that age right now, man. I think maybe 5-6 years ago you could have done it for free.
Yeah.
But he said he's in college.
He had that pay me level. That pay me age. Hey, but I like it though, because it give him money that he can use, you know what I mean? And he's getting to like do something and be responsible and have responsibilities and stuff like that, and is time spent together too. Like That's just another way to spend time together at the end of the day. I mean, it's not necessarily like, I mean, we ain't going to Six Flags or Disney World or hiking or nothing. It ain't that, but it is time together.
Anytime, good time. You know, that
100%.
teenager, I swear, anytime I get to do anything with that girl and she smiles or enjoys it, it's a good day. Because most of the time, you know, this is all they want to do is that phone. And I can't be mad at her, man. A phone or a boyfriend or whatever. And, you know, I'll do whatever it takes, man. We worked on the car the other day, put a battery in her mom's car. It was a good time.
Yeah. It's the small things, man, for real.
Like I told you earlier, I used to get that kid to clean a tub or something every once in a while. Now my young one, if I can get her to where she can just kind of wipe it out, she's good, man. But right now it's just us, you know. So I mean, how about you? You know, you're slam busy all the time. You know, you're doing all the podcasts, all the other stuff. How's your breeding been affected? Like, are you still at the level you want to be?
So I wouldn't say that my breeding has been affected by like doing the network and the podcast and stuff like that. And what I mean by that is like I still kind of got my same schedule for doing my animals. And so like that was like already existent. And so I just work around like what was already in place, if that makes sense. It has filled up a lot of like the little bit of free time that I had left. But at the end of the day, it's something that I enjoy a lot. And it's something that I'm passionate about. I'm determined to grow this just as much as I'm determined to grow Herp Collectors. You know what I mean? And so part of that is sacrifice, putting in the work, keep your head down, grinding, and making it happen. You know what I mean? Because they ain't gonna put it in your hand, so you got to go out there and get it.
Yeah, man. You're not going to do anything if you sit around. Not to mention, I mean, you're doing these other shows, like even as you're doing all the NRVC stuff. There's some characters in our hobby, man. There's some good people. So, I mean, I really enjoy the time, especially after the show. You go down to the hotel bar, and I'm not a drinker, by the way, man. Like, we'll go down there and just kind of drink some water and laugh with everybody. And to me, that's worth it. So I don't know if you hang out at all like that, but man, there's some really good characters at these shows.
Oh yeah, you have a good time at the shows. Like, the shows are like the best place to really get to know people. Or just hanging out with somebody in person in general. Like I was giving the homie Brian a shout out earlier because we got a chance to hang out last weekend and just kind of like chill and talk like that. Sat at the bar and just like had a good time. You know what I mean? It's always good to make those personal like connections. You know what I mean? Like those in-person connections. You learn a lot about people. It's a lot to be said for like eye contact and just like really kind of like building that relationship, building that rapport in person. There's no substitute for that.
Yeah, you get a feel for people a little bit when you're face to face, you know?
Right.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, I was just noticing on here, like, let's see, Constrictors, those are other good friends of ours. Troy's in there. I don't know if you've met them or not. Ed and Kay, they're good people. They're local too. So
okay.
You know, they're good friends of Troy and I. Leviathan Station, all of us are kind of in the same area, you know? So
I got you, Troy.
Yeah, let's see. Troy's not. He's mad. He's not. Troy. Everybody knows we're Ben and Bob shit. Okay, how about that?
So the plan was to change it up. The plan was to change it up, like every week or at least every other week, like change up the list a little bit. But I didn't get to it, and so I had to run with the same one. I got you, dog. Next time.
I'm shouting them out, man. Everybody knows we're gonna be there. Our banner's gonna be buttered right up front, man. So come see us at the show. I promise it's gonna be a good one. Don't take your girl to dinner on Valentine's Day. Bring her to the show. Buy her a snack, man. We got you. We typically don't hold a lot of stuff, man. Morph Market, I don't know. Like right now, we've been selling so much at the shows, we haven't really had a time to upload. And what I upload, thankfully, it sells pretty quick usually. So we're like, you know, but we've got some pretty nice stuff we've been holding back. My wife, it's like all of her Stranger Project stuff just kind of hit at the same time. So we'll have a lot of really nice animals at that show. I'm looking forward to it, man. Like Bob put on a top-notch show.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. And so whenever I shared that you were coming on the show, man, several people like reached out to me, several people like shared it. And so like just when I see that, like I know that that's somebody who has made an impact, who is out there building their network and all that good stuff. And so we touched on it a little bit like with the shows and stuff like that, but really talk about like the importance of networking and building those relationships. Like let's deep dive into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's kind of like it's something Bob told me in the beginning. It's something that I noticed with him. You know, he is phenomenal. The people that know Babu love Babu because Bob is always good to you. You know what I mean? And Bob's always been good to me. So you go to a show and go to 10 tables in a row, and you're going to see a lot of times real similar, if not the same animal on every table. It's kind of like I tell customers, buy from people that you like, people that you're comfortable with. And that vibe that you put out there, that respect that you earn is everything in this business. I mean, you're only as good as you are. But what I mean, be the best person you can be. You know, we always try to do that. My wife and I keep it clean. We're always good with everybody. Always treat people with respect. Look, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like we were talking about a little bit in the beginning, man. People asking questions. Everybody's new at some time, but I'll treat you the exact same from day one to the last day, you know, and that's important. So with the breeders that I've met building the network, I tend to gravitate towards people that have that good vibe, you know, the people that have that good rapport. You go to a show, you got Josh, you got Bob, you got guys like Brock Wagner, all these guys around, and Leviathan. I mean, they've been in just a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. Me, probably about the same time as you. I think they got in 2019, 2020, but
Yeah.
you meet them, they got that vibe. You know, they're likable people. They know the networking, they know the business, they know a lot about it. So really that's important. Build the relationships with people that make you better. Not necessarily somebody that's going to challenge you and everything. We all got that one time, we're like, man, I can't believe he made that steak before me, or I'm gonna hit this first, But competitive's one thing, but I tend to, like, I get excited. For instance, if Troy hits something that I know he's been working hard on, man, I'm the first person to be like, wow, I can't believe you hit that, like that's incredible. And I want people doing that with me. And you see that a lot in this hobby. We all got each other's backs. It's important. Never badmouth anybody, There's no point, no drama. Like I told you the day I met you, like, man, that's why I liked you from the beginning. You keep out of that. You just keep it clean about the hobby. So I think really people don't buy your animal because it's your animal. They buy it because it's from you. You can walk down this table and I tell people all the time, she's like, yeah, hey, look at this snake I got for cheap. And I'm like, yeah, that snake looks like it's never had a meal in its life, Don't buy that. People don't, I'm trying to think exactly the best way to put it. They buy from the people over and over again that they trust. Anybody can sell one snake to one person, but you're not going to sell that same person 10, 15, 20 snakes over the course of the years without having a good reputation. And I think in this business, reputation is everything. So that's what we're trying to do. Just get out there. I mean, we've been with our schedule. We might not do as much on social as we should, but what we do, we try to keep it quality. So
How many shows have y'all been in?
we did over 20 last year.
Oh, wow.
I think we did 20, 22, 23 last year, and then 22. So we've done probably 40 shows. We tried to tighten the schedule up a little bit more this year. Maybe we took out some of the shows so we could do more stuff. I want to do Dallas, a couple of NARBC shows, see if I can get in St. Louis. We do Daytona, we're doing Bob. We're doing the All-American, stuff like that. So this year we don't want to stretch out a little bit, My daughter's getting older. When she was 6 months old, 7 months old, it's kind of hard to get in the car for 10-hour trips, 12-hour trips. But now I think maybe I can get her to ride to Dallas with me.
Okay.
Just got to put the right music on, man. If she don't have, Uptown Funk from Bruno Mars, that's her song. If you don't hear that dope, she don't want to ride.
How many times can you listen to that in a row?
Right before we got off, she was in here mad at me because I had the phone on and I wasn't playing Uptown Funk. So I had to take her out of the room before you got on, man. Literally seconds before you got on. So you listen to it a lot. It's like when you read your kid a book, you got the book memorized. Same deal, man. I know every word of that song. I know the dance steps. You name it. We're good. And no, I'm not doing that. I'm old, man. I'll throw my back out. Right.
So are most of the shows that you're doing profitable?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have lost money, honestly, at one show since we started. So that's been great because we hustle. Let me tell you, we don't go in there and you'll never walk up to my table. And if you do, it's a rarity where I'll be on my phone, where I'm not engaging you, where my wife and I are both greeting you and having a conversation with you. So I think that helps. I mean, we just enjoy it, man. I mean, the whole goal when you go there is to not break even, right? Is to make sure you take a little money home. So yeah, I think we've done pretty well. You know, I've lost money one show. Literally, by lose money, meaning I've sold one animal or two. I didn't cover the cost, but I don't want to cover costs. You know, I want to be able to put that money back towards the next project, or you know, like this year, I got to buy some more racks, man. You know, I got a lot of babies. Old man, man. I mean, my incubator, we're still popping babies right now. We had 2 clutches pipped literally right on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
What was it?
One, we did an OD red stripe Batman clutch.
Okay.
You know, they popped out. The first one that came out looked like a nice OD Batman, you know, so that wasn't bad. And then my wife did a Mojave Stranger Calico clutch with some Firefly. The boy, we shed tested him. He turned out a het clown. We had already paired him by that time. But look, man, they're all het clown. They're nice. We've got some great animals. I posted a couple of them today. So, and then we got other clutches coming around. We got a stranger double-head xanthic clown clutch due any day now. Just all about building, man. You know, and that's a sugar xanthic too. So some stranger sugar stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I bet that looks real interesting.
Oh man, sugar's calico looks good with about everything if you do it right. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. That's one that I wanted to get like for the longest, and I still don't have any yet. I definitely want to get a little bit, like probably on the female side. It's not something I want to go crazy with, but I do want to work it into some projects.
Yeah. So what is that? You talking about the sugar gene?
Yeah, sugar. Yeah.
I just got it in Sunset. I picked up a couple sugar head sunset, double head sunset pie girls from Brock, and they're both about ready to go. They're 1,000, 1,100 grams, 1,200 grams, something like that. So I'm excited to put that in there, man, because we got some sunset hypo stuff growing up, some GHI sunset stuff. I want to throw all that in there. But yeah, we got sugar, calico about and everything. So I don't know if you've seen Balls and Stripes. I'm giving Troy all the love tonight. So Troy's got one of the nicest calico lines I've ever seen. Like he's done some incredible campfire and bonfire stuff. So when we started building it, we just we bred into it. We got something nice with a really high expression and just built off of that. You know, you see a lot of stuff that says it's calico. If I can't tell, man, I'm not going to sell it as it, you know, but our stuff is, I mean, it's beautiful. The stuff my wife I'll post some more pictures. It's Stranger Calico. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it looks amazing.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I definitely want to see that.
Yeah, that is it's pretty sharp.
Yeah, I can picture kind of what it looks like in my head. And if it looks anything like what it looks like in my head, then I know it's nice.
Yeah, gray, silver, white outsides, man, beautiful. I'm hoping it ages well, you know. So yeah, man, it's a lot of cool stuff coming up, man. We got 3-4 girls due to lay any moment now. I got one that's sitting at day 39. I don't know if you had her that far. Yeah, I checked her. She looks fine, man. Hopefully she's going today because she looks like she's about to.
Yeah, I had a girl. So I had 2 clutches on New Year's Eve. Get laid. One girl, she was only, I think she was like 2, maybe 3 days late, something like that. It wasn't too bad. But the other girl, she was about 2.5 weeks late, and so it'd be like that sometimes. Yeah, 39. And she was pump faking me too, like because usually when I see them doing like the snake yoga and stuff like that, I'm like, any day now. I kept going in there several any day nows, and she hadn't laid, but she finally gave me. So I had went the whole calendar year of 2024 with like no slugs at all.
Oh, wow.
She waited to December 31st to give me 1 slug. Like, man, I almost had a perfect year. But that was the only slug the whole year, so I can't be too upset. And she gave me 10 good eggs, and so I can't be too mad.
That's a pretty good thing. So I think we hit 4 slugs last year. We wound up right at 40 clutches laid for season 3. Not a bad deal, man.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Like to go all in, you know, just spend some money, have a good time. So that's what we did. And we breed everything. So yeah, we hit 1 girl really good clutch I was excited about. She had 8 slugs, 3 eggs. She's a big girl. I was like, she's gonna kill it. She had 11 the year before. I thought she was gonna have 11 this year. She did, just not good ones. And then our last 2 clutches, we had our first ever really badly king snake that came
Oh
out.
wow.
Yeah, so we've been real fortunate, man. I mean, you hear bad stories all the time, but I can't say that we really try to breed to avoid that. We try not to make stuff like, super black pastels and stuff like that. It'd be awesome. But I've heard horror stories, so we try to avoid that as much as possible. But man, we've been lucky. And you hit one slug. How many clutches?
How many clutches did I have? Like probably about 18.
That's really good odds, man.
Yeah, I was hoping to go no slugs like the whole year, but I mean one out of like that many babies and that many eggs. I'll take it. I'll take that any day of the week.
Now, you've always heard like the old school mentality, let my girl get really big, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 grams, don't breed them at 12 or 1,500. I don't really, most of our girls 15, 1,600 grams, so they start breeding, I'll ultrasound them starting around that time as long as they look healthy, but are you averaging big clutches? I think we wound up averaging 7.9, 8.1, something like that last year, so.
Yeah, like I was on the 7 and some change side for last season, and I kind of attributed that to the fact that I got like a lot more older girls breeding than what I had before, and so like I'm seeing larger clutches with like a lot of those girls. But yeah, it's definitely over the 6. Like for a while, like I was really kind of sitting at that six kind of like average, but this year it was a lot bigger clutches, which is good too because I had less clutches than what I thought I was gonna have this year. Like going into or thinking back, like so we moved back in like October 2023, and like we moved the whole collection. And like when I was thinking before like we moved, I was expecting to have like way more girls that was gonna go for me for the 2024 season. But once we moved, that didn't quite pan out that way. And then I also had a lot of girls go late as well, and so a lot of those girls not having 2024 clutches. They having 2025 clutches. Like I had 2 in the incubator that was going to be 2025. I got the 2 that I pulled the other day. They're going to be 2025. I got like 6 more that I've been working on in 2024, but they're going to be 2025 clutches. And then like once we kind of get through those clutches, I might have like a few clutches like kind of like in that summer range or whatever, but then everybody else what it's looking like everybody else gonna be late again. And so
late that seemed to be how the season went for everybody last year. I mean, really the whole goal is, if you're gonna do this, to breed year round, right? Like you got the big breeders who are like, I'm pulling eggs every day. I mean, that would be great. I would love, you got guys like Chimera, Superior Scales, all these guys, Bob, these guys are pulling clutches all the time. Man, I'm breeding all year round, so I think this year, like you're saying, we're going to have some. Last year I didn't have anything until March, April. I think we had 1 in January, and the rest of that 2 or 3 months was nothing. I think this year, if we spread it out just right, like you said, in January, February, we're going to have some babies, maybe March, April, but then a couple in the summer, and yeah, hopefully slams in the fall. I got 175 females that can go this year that I'm breeding.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like that's going to be a lot, man. Troy and I were talking about the other day. I said, man, I don't know if I can handle 175 clutches. But, what do you average? 50%, I think is what we averaged this year from the girls we paired. Take what we can do, I'll buy more racks. We'll just have to feed some more animals, man. But,
what racks you running right now?
ARS.
Okay, yeah, same.
I mean, I've still got some animal plastics, PVC stuff for the 6-quart tubs. If I've got picky eaters and things like that, I don't put them straight in the tin. If I got small babies, and now we've gotten to the point where we typically will put everybody in that 6-quart. I think they eat better starting off. I think I've got 1 rack downstairs. I've got a separate room where I keep my show babies, and then then of course you've got the other rooms to quarantine. Man, I took a lot of my wife's space. She's making me redo the garage right now. We never get to it. I've been working on that garage, I think, for 6 months, man. It's every time we get to it, I got hauled up. But yeah, if we didn't have the baby, I'd have another room upstairs. You know what I mean? At one time, I think I had a 1070 in my dining room. That lasted about a week. My probably made me get that out of there. It's kind of weird pulling snake tubs, man. But yeah, I mean, we run ARS. I mean, you know, I like those guys. I mean, started off with sea serpents. I know if you started, did you go, were you in the PVC?
Yeah, I actually still got some sea serpents racks still that I use. Like my grow out racks and my hatchling racks are all sea serpents, like across the board. I got several of those. In fact, it's funny that you said that about like space in the house, because we used to have like hatchling racks, like the big 45 tub hatchling racks for sea serpents. We used to have those all in like the bedroom and stuff, along with the incubator. And like it was just like it was starting to crowd up the bedroom. It was crazy. Like it was getting nuts. So we had to do something. I didn't have no choice. We didn't have no choice.
We've got leopard geckos in our bedroom right now. We've got a big wire rack with heat tape run on it. And then, because the leopard geckos, when they get adults, they like a little space. So, you know, we've got them curtained off so that they get some dark time. And they've all got their own big, you know, 12-quart tubs all set up on heat, man. Because and then we've got a 6-quart sea serpent rack right above it. That's what I got some of the small babies in. But yeah, man, I mean, the bedroom's a good spot for it. I mean, if it's in there, why not? I'll do it. I'll try it anywhere until my wife kicks me out of that room. That's my goal. I mean, I got friends that put them in their bathroom, man. Haven't done that yet, but it's getting there. If I don't get that garage done, and if we hit anywhere near the babies that I'm planning on for this season, yeah, I'm gonna be spreading out.
Yeah, we got a couple of boas in the bedroom right now, but that's it. That's light work.
I have one boa left, man, and a boa rack that I need to move. So I'm probably going to wind up. I won't take him to the Bob show, but I'll probably take him to my next Charlotte show. She's beautiful.
Speaking of boas, I've been saying for probably like 2 years now, I'm gonna get out of boas. But I just hadn't brought myself to do it yet.
Look, I think they're awesome. They're awesome animals. They are, but I had bad luck with boas. Typically, you have to handle them a lot more, just in my experience, you know. And when I had that many ball pythons, I wasn't able to handle our boa every day like we used to. You know, we used to go there, hold her every day, put her around her neck, chill, and then before you know it, I'm holding her once a week or I'm holding her once a month. And the next thing you know, she's 8 foot long, you know, and she's ready to eat everything around. I'm opening the tub, she's snapping at me, she's biting me. And man, that's not a fun bite.
Oh no. When boas bite, they mean it.
And it bleeds. I mean, yeah, I mean, they bite you to let you know they're there. And I mean, she just was snapping my wife. And then, like I tell you, my kids started opening tubs, and I'm not too worried about her with the hatchling. She can take it, you know. She knows not to let them near her face and things like that. Even at 20 months old, you know, she's not going to put them in her mouth, you know what I mean? But a boa, yeah, that could be.
Oh, yeah, that's a nasty bite, especially for a child that size.
Yeah, we have, well, even my teenager, she's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, hey, help me with this boa. She's like, her fun thing. She's like, nah, bro. I'm like, I'm not your bruh, but you know, let's My wife, she got tagged by them. I think a girl she grew up for a few years, you know, she got them, but man, they're cool. Really, I mean, I sold the best boa I had was an IMG male that I got from Troy, and I sold it to this great guy out there in Dallas, Texas, and man, he says the best snake he has. That boy was cool from day one. Once I separated him from those females, because they were all breeding size, you know, they're all at that age. Once I separated him, he was fine. But
he was snappy before that?
Oh, yeah, man. I opened the tub. He was ready to go. Everybody. Now, once I got him out, he was good.
Uh-huh.
But our red tail, all them, nah, man. I'm honest with my customers all the time. Like, if somebody comes to the table and they want a good pet, you know, you get babies, you got the occasional bitey, flighty one. I'll tell them, like, look, this one's a turd. Just needs to work with it. Just be honest, you know. Like, don't take this thing home and not think you're going to get struck at. Well, the boa, I mean, I was honest. We were told that they didn't get that big. We were not Troy. He told
somebody lied to you.
Well, I guess so, man. It's like, oh, these boas get 5 foot. Man, that boa was 5 foot in a year. You know, a year and a half. She was huge. I think the average boa we had, the one I have at home right now, is 7.5 feet.
And about how old is it?
3. A little over 3 years old. You know, she's probably 3.5, and she's that big around, man. I mean, she's.
Yeah, they can get some size on them.
She's a sweetheart. I like her. She's beautiful.
I think if I do keep one boa, it'll be my IMG boa. Like, he's a male. Like, he's super chill, super duper chill. But definitely gonna keep him if I keep any of them. I just gotta do what I say I'm gonna do and go ahead and sell them.
Well, just think about that clutch size, man. That's what kind of got me into it. You know, I realized they have 20, 30 babies. I'm going to buy a rack for every boa clutch I hit. Is the way my mentality worked. You know, like every clutch I hit, these 6 females, I'm going to have a new rack full. Because it'd been my luck, they all went at the same time. I had a litter, you know, litter. I would have had a litter of boas and another one, then another one, you know. And there, I don't know about you, but financially, I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Like when I first got into it, I was a little bit too gung-ho with like going all in. I was like, I'm gonna breed boas, I'm gonna breed ball pythons, I'm gonna breed carpet pythons. Then once I like started like actually learning like what I was talking about, I started like reanalyzing stuff and reconsidering stuff. And so like I quickly came to the decision that for right now, as far as breeding goes, it's just going to be the ball pythons. In terms of reptiles, obviously we got to breed the AF cells, but as far as reptiles go, it's just going to be the ball pythons for now. The boas, I don't have any intentions of breeding boas. Every now and then I get like a wild hair and say maybe I should throw them in there because they both up the size. But then I quickly kind of talked myself off the ledge, and so because I don't got time to work and breed boas right now and kind of like manage all of that. I wouldn't really even have nowhere to sell them. I don't really have like a whole boa network, you know what I mean? And so like it'll be hard to move that many animals too, I think, for me, unless I just like price them at like some fire sale prices or something crazy like that. But then that's just pointless too, right? And that's not the way I want to go about business. Carpet pythons, I probably will eventually breed them like at some point, but it's just going to be sometime in the future.
Yeah, I know some people that breed carpets. I mean, American Made Matt does some carpets. I know a few people that do them, you know. I do carpets before I did bloods, you know. Like I know people like, you want to do bloods, and I'm good. Like I know,
I'm good on bloods. I'm good, blood.
Yeah, like that's a fat, mean little snake, you know. I think they're cool, man. They're beautiful. But a friend of mine, one-on-one, and I watched her get bit. She's like, oh, it got me. I'm like, man, you were bleeding. But no, I think they're cool. I think bloods are beautiful. Like I see my first pieball blood python at Bailey and Bailey out there in Tinley, and I thought it was one of the prettiest snakes I've ever seen. So it was cool, man. Like I held it, I thought it was neat, but no, it's too much time, man. It's kind of like you said, you gotta. You get in the mentality, like, I'm going to do it all. Like, I'm going to make this, I'm going to make this. And it's nothing wrong just because you love what you're doing. But, man, when you really get into it, like with the geckos and stuff, they're easy. But these 2 eggs here, we're going to breed ours again this season, but we decided not to expand anymore. One time, you know, we were pushing 30 leopard geckos, 40 leopard geckos at clutch, you know, like clutch size breedable. I'm like, no, let's cut that down to 20. So I think we're right at 15, 20. Females this season, and we're at 11 cresteds. You know, they're easy. We can handle that. That's supposed to be the teenager saying. That's supposed to be the P of JLP. But you know, she asked me, she's like, "What percentage do I get?" I was like, 5 for the work. 5%. She
P for percentage.
Yeah, she's a great. I'm not mad at her. For her grade slip, she'll be working a little bit harder. But you know, if we get some help on that end, or if they, you know, we put them together and it works out, but I'm not doing spiders or anything like that, man. That's my wife's thing. Unless she tells me I have to, and then I'm gonna do it. So, yeah,
that's actually a good segue into like what I want to talk about next, which you've touched on a lot of it, but we can talk about it further, like some of your biggest challenges. But before we get into that, I do want to take a quick sponsor break. So we'll be right back. Y'all stick with us. If you haven't hit that like button, make sure you hit that like button. Appreciate y'all.
Known for his innovative approach to genetic shed testing and top quality ball pythons, Grey Rider Reptiles also excels in exceptional customer service and responsiveness. With a quick turnaround time, Charlie ensures you get the service you want and need. Visit shedtesting.com to explore his offerings and experience the best in the business. Don't miss out. Head to shedtesting.com today and unlock the power of your breeding projects.
Peace and love, family. We invite you into the heart of our serenity, Ancestral Royal Pythons. At Ancestral Royal Pythons, we're not just breeders, we're nurturers of love and growth. Each of our high-end ball pythons is a tribute to the grandeur of the natural world and our dedication to quality. Reach out today and bring one of our creations into your home. This is Ancestral Royal Pythons. Your journey begins here.
Here's to the exciting world of Ebony and Ivory reptiles. From unforgettable parties and events to keeping and hatching some of the dopest reptiles in the reptile hobby, we're all about education, quality, integrity, and respect. Hit us up and see how we can help make your next project a reality. Experience Ebony and Ivory reptiles, where fascination meets fun.
Ebony and Ivory Reptiles.
Big shout out to the sponsors. Big shout out. Appreciate you, fellas. So we talked about earlier kind of getting into it and like really not knowing what you don't know at first until you start like learning more. So talk about some unexpected challenges and stuff like that that you've had along the way, kind of how you dealt with it and what you learned from it.
I mean, you know, when you're starting off, you run into all the basic stuff like, hey, this animal's not eating, or I don't know if you've had an animal yet get egg bound, you know, things like that. That's happened.
Yeah.
Man, it's scary. Like it happened to me early. You know, it happened to me once last season, and then my very first season, second clutch, it happened. And you know, thankfully I had Troy and Bob. You know, I reached out to those guys, and they kind of walked me through what to do. But again, it's that network. If I wouldn't have had that, you know, you go to I have a good reptile vet now, but at the time, I wasn't aware of who to go to. You know, he's like, the one guy I did talk to is like, well, I'm gonna have to cut this animal open and pull it, and then she'll never be breedable again. And let me tell you, man, this girl was not cheap. I mean, it wasn't so much just, granted, you want what's best for the animal, but let's face it, this is a business, you know, so you want to make sure that you get your investment back. And if I'd have done that, then yeah, we would have never made our money back. So luckily, that one I did on my own. I palpated it, you know, got it out. It's terrifying. Now I have a good vet that did it for me last year, you know, that way it was kind of on him. But you know, stuff like that, having babies come out, you know, with a hard belly. You know, I don't know if you've ever had that. That's another thing.
Yeah, I have had that.
So, you know,
I
you
had
get hard belly.
times last year.
Yeah, you know, like I lost a redhead het clown male that I was growing. Just, you know, I got him. I was like, yeah, he's great. He's eating. He was doing well. And the next thing you know, bam, hard belly, got him. I didn't know how to handle it, you know, and now thankfully I do. But stuck umbilical cords, things like that. How do you handle that stuff, man? You reach out, you phone a friend, you know? So that's the kind of stuff on that side of it I ran into. And then, of course, we've talked a little bit about going all in, maybe getting a little bit too excited. Like you go to a show and, hey, this guy's got a $60 spot nose female. Do I need that? No, but it's a $60 spot nose female. I'm going to buy it. Troy kind of gave me good advice in the beginning that I didn't really listen to as much as I should about localizing my projects, bringing them together, not having so much. So out of those first 40 or 50 snakes that I bought, I kind of wish I would have maybe bought 10 of them, you know, to do that. So really learning and figuring out what I wanted to do and what Lizzie and I wanted to do as far as our thing, I wish I'd have picked that up a little bit sooner and listened, you know. So that's a big obstacle to overcome. You can spend a lot of money really fast here, but are you going to do it the way that it's, you know, it's going to help you in the future?
Right.
So I think that's important. Plan your projects. Plan out what you want to do, what you want to work. Like my wife has her things, I have mine, then we have our local things together, you know? Like this is our show snakes. We kind of differentiated that. I know when you do as many shows as we do, you've got to kind of do the pet quality stuff. Like, am I still making cool banana combos? Yeah, all day. Am I still making basic pies? Yeah, all day. I'm making cool. You want an OD pie? I'm gonna make you some pretty ones, you know. But that's the stuff that pays the bills and allows you to make kind of stuff like that Mojave Hypo Clown male I got from you. That boy's putting in work, you know. So now we got some Mojave GHI Hypo Clowns coming.
Oh, nice.
Some Hypo Clown pods coming down the road from that guy, you know, and putting him in some other stuff. So that boy's making his money. That was my first auction I ever won too, man, by the way.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I remember you telling me that in Charlotte.
I'm competitive, man. Let me tell you, don't get me down the last 5 seconds. I'm putting a bid in. Like, I don't like to lose. I was eBay did not like me back in the day. I don't like losing an auction. So, my wife asked me how much I paid for that boy. I was like, you don't worry about that. No, I said, it'll come around. And look, now here I am on the show. So it works out. There you go, that was a project I really wanted. It was something, worth the hypo clowns. And I had some females that were about ready to go. And when I got that boy from you, he's 750 grams, 800 grams. And now he is a champion, dude.
Yeah, he just get in there and get to work too.
Yeah, he's
like no questions asked. Like he just get in there. What up?
Yeah, I open the tub. He's out. Like he's ready to go. I mean, he'll do the tail flap for the girls. I was like, all right, man, cool. Do your thing. He's in with a girl right now, actually. So give him a couple girlfriends at a time. Give him a couple weeks off, put him back in. He slams his food. He's ready to roll. But yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing. Just really kind of dialing in what I wanted to do was my biggest thing. My wife and I, we love the animals. We love the hobby. So if we thought it was cool, we bought it. If we thought it was pretty, we bought it. And not if it was a good deal, we're like, oh, we bought it. But we were real particular who we bought from the beginning. We didn't just go to the show and buy from anybody. I didn't mind if I didn't trust you or I didn't know. Again, knowing people like Troy and things like that, they introduced me to Bob, guys that I knew were doing good, clean animals. Same deal with us. We have a health guarantee. You come in with us, our animals are clean. We're going to stand by that, That's important to me. So really, we learned that quick too. We've all had the tortured incident where everybody's like, oh, you hear the stories at the show. Do you see that snake over there's got mice? Like, yeah, let's keep that over on your table. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's stuff like that. Thankfully, we learned that early and didn't have to deal with that like that. But, it just, yeah, man, just got to kind of dial it in. You got to get your niche, like, what are you good at? What do you do? And listen to your wife. When she tells you she wants to buy a puzzle pair, $1,500, you buy that puzzle pair, man. I mean,
you got to do it.
We would have been selling puzzle at the height of puzzle, She wanted to get into Stranger 3 years ago, and I'm like, nah, babe, we don't need to do that. And then we dropped $9,000 on our first Stranger mail, and we're going to be working at that a long time to make that money back. But man, I was like, golly, we bought that at the height, We're like, yeah, let's get that done, So again, I didn't listen to her. She did. She got me. I wanted to buy Ultra Milk from the beginning. She did not. And now she's like, man, these are pretty. So, I mean.
Ultra Males are nice, man. Stranger Ultra Males stuff is nice, too.
We're making it right now. I'm working on it, man, trying to build it, don't get me wrong. I like Monarch, too. So, I'm not hating on anything. I think that anything that ages and keeps its color and everything that looks good as an adult, I'm cool with it, man. You hear that all the time. How many projects do you work because it makes pretty babies? But, mom and daddy aren't so pretty.
Yeah.
Parents make a pretty baby. That is definitely true in the snake business,
100%. Yeah, I love that stuff that ages well. Like that's why I like hypo so much, because hypo ages really well. DG ages well. Dark genes in general age well, like your chocolates and stuff like that. Blackhead stuff looks nice. Like all those darker genes like age really well, and that's why I like playing around with those genes. Ultra male looks good too. Like it's one of the lighter ones that looks good as an adult. There's a lot of directions you can go with animals that look good both as babies and as adults.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of, I don't know what snake got you first, but the first snake that we got into was, I saw the Stormtrooper. You remember that one, that Xanthic black and white snake. I
know the name, but what all genes were in it?
Oh man, I knew you could ask that. Let me tell you, I should have done more research. If I'm not mistaken, I know he never. If I'm not, I don't think he ever put it out there. Like I've seen a few guys put it out, but I believe it was SK Xanthic and some other stuff. And it was a true black and white snake, from back then. And I think it was amazing. I wanted to make that snake. Now DG Xanthics. I got some of those working, and I'll still make them. I still think they're beautiful. We haven't hit one yet. I've hit a bunch of close, but my wife loved the dreamsicle stuff. We still make dreamsicles. They don't sell like they used to, but they sell. Anybody can afford it now. Anybody can enjoy it. I'm cool with that.
It's a beautiful animal for real.
Yeah, I mean, we just made some Gene X dreamsicles at the house. They are nice, man. So they brought 3 meals in. They're gonna be a Bob show, guys. Come see them.
And I feel like when you do it, speaking of shows, I feel like when you're doing shows, you got to have a good mix of animals on your table. Because if you just got like one, like if you just got all investment animals, then you kind of at risk. I mean, you kind of got to diversify your portfolio based on different people coming through the show looking for different things, right? You might get like a lot of foot traffic from people that's not looking to drop 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 or more on an animal, right? So you got to have something that cater to those folks.
Yes, I mean, especially with, you don't like to say the economy is bad right now, but you know it is. Just keep it real. I mean, it hasn't been, compared to last year, what I was selling, even just a basic banana yellow belly at, is almost half this year. You know, Desert Ghost stuff last year, you know, $400, $500, $600. This year, you're lucky you're selling basic Desert Ghost stuff. You know, I've got chocolate Desert Ghost females I'm selling for, you know, $200-$300. You know, so yeah, you got $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 snakes. If that's all you have on your table, and the basic customer walks by, whether you have some $200 animals, 99% of the time, they're going to walk away before they get to that $200 animal. You know, you got to kind of, in my opinion, you got to kind of mix it up, and that's what a lot of the guys do. Look, if you're someone that's on the level of like Ozzy or KINOVA or something, those guys can do it because that's
Different.
That's what they do better than anybody. I mean, you know that when you go to that table, I mean, Justin's going to have some amazing animals. You know, don't get me wrong. Justin at the last show had a good variety of animals from, you know, a few $100s up. You could buy a KINOVA animal if you wanted. But if I go to you and I don't really know you, they come to my table. Yeah, I've got a few followers, but man, I'm not on that level. You're not going to buy a $10,000 animal from me when you can walk over there and buy it from him. You know, so you got to think about that stuff, you know. If any of my friends are watching, you want to buy a $10,000 animal, I got you. You know, like I'll be that guy. Like I'll hook you up, man. I'll pay it forward. Let's do it that way. But yeah, I mean, it's all about merchandising, you know. That's with any business. You've got to have a good mix of everything, you know. And that we do. But we really focus on good quality pet stuff. People tell me all the time, like, your animals look great. If I have a $20 normal and a $10,000 this, they're sometimes in the rack right next to each other. You know what I mean? They're getting fed the same. They're getting taken care of the same. They're getting changed out the same. Doesn't matter. It's still an animal. Now, granted, I mean, if it comes down to it, you sell one $10,000 animal, you got a good show. But man, it's a risk, man. I mean, you're sitting there for 2 days, sometimes 3 days on these shows, and you don't sell anything until that Sunday. You're in a pretty grumpy mood. I want to move 20 animals, free some spots up, man. Make some more babies, you know. And that's always what our limit is. I mean, we shoot for 20 a show minimum. You know, we're pretty close to that. You know, we've also are fortunate. We have some really, really good return customers, people that are loyal. You know, and that's
what's up.
And we look out for them. You know, you buy one steak from me, you get a discount for life. You know, I'm always going to take care of you. So, I mean, that's what you got to do, man.
That's a good way to be. So, you jumped in a DeLorean, so jumping in a time machine, and you could go back to like when you first started doing this, and give yourself like any piece of advice. Would it be to be like more focused on your projects, or would it be like something different?
To be honest with you, yeah. I mean, especially considering, you know, you were in and around COVID. You remember where prices were, price points, things like that. If we would have done and bought the way that we do now, then number one, we'd have probably half the money invested, but we'd have had 4 times the return. So I wish I would have learned a little bit more then than I did now, as far as what to long-term investment. So I think that's the important thing. So yeah, I would have maybe spent money a little differently. I definitely would have listened to my wife and bought some different stuff. So I mean, like Sunset's an incredible project. I didn't really get into it. We got into it last year. You know, we spent some money into it now. You know, thank you, Brock. Brock is a phenomenal dude, man. And all my Sunset stuff came from Brock Wagner, all of it. So
yeah, Brock is a good dude, man.
Man, he's a trip, man. I like Brock. He's a straightforward guy. He's a good dude to hang around. We got real blessed when we were at Daytona. We were here. Brock was here, so I had a great show. I always had somebody to talk smack with a little bit, but yeah, I mean, really, I would have gotten into that. Like, I probably would have spent a little more money into that, like my wife wanted to originally, and move stuff around. We probably wouldn't have bought the boas, things like that, you know. Would we have all the spiders and cresteds and leopards? Probably, man, because we like them. They're easy. I mean, geckos are not difficult.
Right.
So, and I would have finished the garage back then. And I would have definitely put more time into building the rat side of it, because you can spend a ton of money in rodents before you know it. I'm still spending $1,000 a month in rodents on top of breeding them, and that adds up, man. So
it does, for real.
we're not doing a show this January. I told her we would take the month off, so kind of after the new year, get some stuff situated, get the garage done. So we took January off all the way around, and let me tell you, you can tell. You can definitely tell when you're not moving animals, especially when you have 60 animals come in between December and February. That's how many eggs could hatch out between now and then. It's a lot of space, man.
It starts adding up quick.
Yeah. So jump back in time, just make smarter decisions. Listen to people when they tell you, the guys that have been in the game a long time. You got guys like, I don't know if you get Ozzy's newsletter. I'm sure you do, right?
Oh yeah.
You ever read through that? Like, Ozzy breaks it down sometimes in a way that just makes you listen. Been doing it a long time, and I would have, definitely maybe bought some bigger projects and sold them while they were selling high, because we would have hit them all last season, but and I mean, I'm still enjoying it. I still like it every day. I mean, I'm going to go home tonight. Right now, there's babies out. We check camera. There's babies out right now. So we're going to go wash some babies, put them in the tubs, and put another baby to bed. I can hear her in and out. She is mad at me. But no, man, I don't know. I mean, what about you? Would you go back? Would you still be doing what you're doing right now, or would you have started this side of it first? Would you have done more podcasts or done another one?
So I don't know that I would have necessarily changed kind of the order of operations, with regard to the snakes and the podcast stuff and all the content stuff. I think that probably would have kind of went along the same timeline. Because originally, I thought about doing the podcast for 6 to 9 months before I did the podcast. But at first, I didn't want to do the podcast because I was still new. And I was like, no one's going to want to hear what I got to say. I'm new, all kind of self-doubt, stuff like that, just talking myself out of it. And then I finally got to a point to where I was like, bump it, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna move forward and we're going to do it this way. And so one of the things I wanted to do was learn a lot from people, when they come on the podcast. And so I wanted people who had more experience than me to come on. I wanted people who was kind of at the same experience level, because there's things we can learn from each other, you know what I'm saying? Because we going through similar things. And so I had a good variety of folks, but I definitely wanted to get people who had a bunch of experience too, so I could pick their brain. And then also I wanted to network, right? So this is a good way to network with people and get your name out there and all that good stuff. And so that was a part of it too. So that was a really long way to say that would have stayed the same. But as far as something that I would have changed, it would have been something similar to what you just said. I would have went into it with a smarter mindset, right? In terms of what animals I was picking up. Going back to that story that I told you at the beginning, when I was texting the breeder, I had a list of snakes that I wanted to see if they still had available. And it was just bro, what were you doing? You weren't thinking in terms of if you're going to get these snakes to breed, does this make sense for a direction that you want to go? Because I really didn't have a direction that I wanted to go. So if I went back in time, I would definitely told myself that, hey, slow down, slow your roll. It's not a race. You don't got to pick up just everything you see that catches your eye. You can be thoughtful about it. Tap in with some people who got more experience than you. Really start getting a lot more knowledge behind what you're doing before you just go out and just start buying everything just because it looks really cool to you. So that would have been something that I would change, right? And I feel like if I'd have done that, I would probably be even further down the road than where I am right now. If things go well this year, I feel like 2025 can be a breakout season for us in terms of stuff that we produce. But I probably would have hit that quicker. I know it's not a race. I just said that, but I probably would have hit it a lot sooner. And then the other part to that too is I probably would have spent a lot less money, because one of the reasons that we are where we are right now in terms of what we can produce this year is because we went back and retooled everything, right? So a lot of that stuff that I bought at first, a lot of that stuff I didn't even end up breeding that stuff. I just sold it, and use that money, put it with more money, and got better things, and then start upgrading the collection.
Yeah, I mean, how many of us have done that? You know, that I'm honest with my customers. They call me, they want this, they want that. I'm asking, what is your long-term plan? Like, you know, we all sell. Most of us, we sell retired breeders. You know, girls we don't want to breed. You talk about buying stuff. Like right now, I have an inchy female and an inchy male I bought 3 years ago because I wanted to make super inchies. I thought they'd be cool. Now, man, let me tell you, they've never bred. You know, I've got. It's one of those things that they've kind of turned into pets. So they'll probably be at a show for sale here soon. But she's about 4,800 grams, man. She's huge. She's a big girl. All she does is eat my food. I paired her twice. She never went. I'm like, man, I mean, she just slams food left and right. Always hungry. I mean, that's probably my second biggest animal. I think I've got one that's like 4,900 grams. That's the biggest ball python I've ever seen. But yeah, this girl, 4,700, like 70 grams, man.
And no clutch yet.
Does nothing. Does nothing. Snaps at me, strikes at me. And then I've got a 2,600, 2,700 gram inchy male that I bought. Man, it's one of the things I thought inchies were cool. I saw some super inchy.
And they are.
Like yeah, man. I was like, look at this fire. If I make super inchies and do this, I'll be right on the roll. And man, I wasn't thinking, you know. That's one of the things. I think Troy even told me, he's like, nah, man, don't do that. Like don't fake that stuff, man. But I did. I bought them. They're still sitting at the house. I got a regular pastel male. He's pastel. What am I going to do with that dude? He's just a big old pastel boy. He'll never breed. I mean, if I try to sell him right now, I probably wouldn't get $20 out of that boy. So if somebody needs to give a home to a good snake, you call me. You know, like you know, that's one of the things. Like, yeah, stuff like that, man. Like, what did I need that guy for? I didn't want him to. A friend of mine had him. I was like, I'll take that dude, man. I'll give him a good home. I don't have room or time to give him a good home. Let's just put it that way, you know. I hold that guy when I pull him out. He gets fed every week. He gets cleaned tub, gets sprayed down. That's it, man. Like I might put him around my neck when I'm cleaning tubs. That's the gist of his life, you know. That's not really cool for a pet. So yeah, stuff like that, man. You got to learn. Listen to people. You know, especially when you're starting off. Those questions you're talking about. You had that list of snakes. Man, I was always like, what kind of, you know, you ask your friends, what do you got? You know, like, yeah, let me look. Yeah, I used to call Bob. I'm like, Bob, do you have any of this? He's like, yeah, I'm sure I do. Let me look. And I think he was always telling me, like, man, look, you don't want that. Like, here, this is. You know, I'm real thankful for that guy. I wouldn't have any of the stuff I have now. Like, he kind of gave me him and Troy. Troy gave me my first clown male. You know, he sold them to me. Like, he didn't give them away. Let me tell you, I tried. But that dude has put in a ton of work for me. He's a banana blade clown, man, and that dude will never go anywhere. Like, that boy is awesome. So, I mean, yeah, man, I mean, you got to learn from the people that have been in it the longest. You know?
Big facts.
Yeah.
So I just pulled up that list of animals that I was inquiring about. And so that's the list. Pastel Inchy.
There we go.
Super Pastel Mocha.
Oh,
a fire pewter. Some other pewter. I must have had a typo. I don't know what VB is. A bongo and a fire pin. And I passed on the bongo. Like, out of everyone on that list, the bongo was the one that I should have got.
You were in luck because right now I have a fire pewter breeder female for sale, and she was hot. Let me tell you, that girl, she is a breeder female, proven. I mean, she's pretty, man. Fire pewters look good. They do. They age really well. They look great. I mean, this girl's 4 years old, had one clutch for me. She's another one, eats my food and don't go.
We still got the fire pewter because I ended up getting that one.
Yeah,
we still got her, but she is a pet, like pet only. She's at the house, like in a big enclosure and stuff like that. So she living her best life.
I think I took one of my super banana. I got a super banana hypo or something at the house, man. I think I bred him to her last year and made some cool looking banana pewter stuff. But man, my wife's like, "You gonna breed her again?" I was like, "I don't know, man. Like, really, do I need her?" And she's not friendly. She's not like a, you know, she's not bitey, man. But you know, she's one of those things. You touch her, she's, you know, jerking around like, "Hey, why are you messing with me?" But once a week, I get her out, man. Every time, get her out, spot clean her tub, give her good meals. But fire pewter, I saw one, had to have it, just like you. It was on my list, and I still got her, man. It's hard, you know, when you love the animals and you really like that. You got guys all the time. They're like, "Yeah, I don't care. It's, you know, this doesn't fit my plan, so it's gone," or this, and that's the way I should be. Because I have no plans for a fire pewter, man. But if I can, and I've never been able to repeat that. I don't know if you bred yours ever, but
I never bred it.
I've bred her, and not one animal came out looking like her. Not one. I took her to a super fire something. Thought I was gonna hit some super fires. I hit nothing. No, nothing. I mean, I was like, man, I didn't even hit one super fire out of her. So I hit a bunch of regular old looking pewters. I think I had to basically, by the time you sell them, I mean, you're almost giving those guys away. I think they were $100 a piece back in the day, you know? Like,
Yeah.
$100, yeah. I think I paid $500 for her, you know? I think I paid $500 for my breeder Inchy girl that's never bred. I mean, man, that's crazy if you really think about it. What you were spending for stuff like that, you know? Breeder banana females. First one I bought, I mean, that girl is like lace price. You know, I've got some nice lace stuff that I didn't spend that much for. I think I spent $1,500 on my first banana female. I don't know, maybe it might have been $500, but it seemed like a lot of money at the time. You know what I mean? I mean, when you're looking for them, they're $1,000, $1,200. You know, and yeah, I mean, Troy, I'm sorry, man. I should have listened to you. I would have spent probably $30,000 less, and I would have spent it on something, man. I mean,
And
really,
another thing too is when I first got in and like saw some of those prices, like I was like, it was sticker shock, and I'm not gonna pay that for a snake. I'll just get one of these. And like years later, not even years later, like maybe a year later, like I'm paying those kind of prices that I said I'll never pay that for a snake.
this is I tell people all the time that are getting in, like right now, you are investing in a good time. I mean, stuff that you're buying. I mean, really, they say clown is the new normal. I mean, I don't know if you've heard that, right? Have you heard that mentality? People say the basic clown is the new normal. I don't.
Yeah, I've heard that heresy.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, man, like it's one of those things. I'm like, man, that's a recessive. Like, you know, you know how many clown females I have on breeding this season? I don't want to hear that, you know. But it's true. You can buy stuff now that literally I couldn't afford. You know, I just sold a dream sickle to a girl, and she said that's been her dream snake for 3 years, and she can finally afford it. And I'm like, look, I'm right with you. You know, we spent a ton of money in that project, and you think about back then, you know, you're doing your plans out for your project, like dreamsicle, $10,000 clutch, $10,000 clutch. Well, no, man, I'd do every dreamsicle we have, and we're not making 10 grand this year. I'm just saying. But we're still going to make them. We're still going to try to do grail stuff. We're going to make all that stuff, you know, man. I mean, it holds up. You got a lot of projects, I think, that are going to hold their value, and then I think there's a lot that are going to bounce back. I'm hoping Desert Ghost kind of up a little bit. I don't know about you. I still got a lot of Desert Ghost stuff, man.
Yeah, I got a lot of Desert Ghost stuff too, but it's all in like multi-recessive projects where there's like 2, 3, or 4 recessives, and so
that's the way it's got to be. I think.
Yeah, that's basically the way it's got to be. I took a longer route, like with making my double visuals, because I wanted a bunch of codoms in my stuff, and so that's the route that I took so I could work codoms in it. At the time, I was thinking like I would rather build it like that and then make like really cool like multi-recessive combos of the stuff that I'm trying to hit, and so I just went that route, and so that's why it's taking me like I haven't hit as many like doubles and triples and stuff like that as I ain't hit no triples. Who am I kidding? But stuff like that as I would like, but at the same time, I got a lot of codoms into those multi-recessive projects, and so like once stuff start like producing like the doubles and the triples with those codoms in it, it's gonna be crazy. Like I think about the stuff sometimes, and like literally like my mouth start watering at some of the snakes that I'm thinking about hitting.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a Hurricane Batman from KINOVA. Bob, you know, like I told you, I do a lot of Batman stuff, you know, like I think it just, look, Batman tattoo, I'm a Batman nerd, you know, like I'm gonna make Batman, man. And, you know, I've made some OD Batmans where, you know, we're trying to make some scarecrows and stuff. And then he had that Hurricane, and I don't know, man, I think Hurricane's hot. I think it's a good gene.
Oh, it's real dope.
You know, I've got that, you know, in Clown right now. Hurricane and Cypress, I think, are still kind of, I think that's going to pull Clown, keep it where it needs to be, in my opinion, you know. But
100%.
When I think about those, throwing that Hurricane in with some OD Batman stuff this year, I'm not going to lie, man, I get a little excited. The double, I'm like you, you know, I wanted to build projects like our puzzle stuff, our Exantic puzzle, all that. I wanted to build codoms. So, you know, that's why the Stranger I'm doing. My wife's Stranger project, she's got 2, 3, 4 codoms in these Clown projects coming out, and now they're starting to produce. So she's been excited, man. I mean, we've got Stranger Ultramill stuff that she's been working, Ultramill Clown, all that stuff. And yeah, just take your time. It's not a race. I mean, granted, you want to when we're in this industry with the guys that have been doing it for 20, 30 years, 9 times out of 10, you might get lucky or one time you might beat them, but 90% of the time you're not going to beat them, you know, but that market's not for everybody. So keep making it, man. I'm okay. I still want to make a Pompeii. I mean, you got a lot of people making them, but man, if I make a Pompeii, I'm gonna have a good day. I don't know about you. I mean, our first sunset we ever bought was a 6 gene female from Brock. I didn't want to buy just regular sunset. I didn't want to do any of that. So we don't have any plain sunset at the house. It's
Okay.
Spot nose. We've got sunset hypo stuff. We've got that girl that's got so many genes. I'll have to pull up my phone and tell you, man. But she has 6 gene female.
You gotta have the codon stuff in there. Like,
Yeah,
it's a must, in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna do it, do it. That's how you get cool stuff, man. I mean, now,
100%.
you work with. I mean, I know you do shed testing. You got Charlie, right? You do it. If it wasn't for like Charlie and RGI, all these guys out there shed testing, I think that's going to save a lot of time. You know, you can do the double recessive, triple, the double heads, triple heads. I've got a lot of stuff I've shed tested this year that came back pretty good news, you know. So like my G stripe stuff, come to find out it's all het clown.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, and then I've got some ultramel in there too. So got some,
Okay, so you're doing the Ultra Kiki project?
yeah, well, I mean, I didn't want to do just Kiki, but I want to throw it in some ultramel. So I think some Kiki ultramel, you know, it's going to look nice.
Okay. Yeah, we need to talk. I'm working that project too.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you're going to do it, make some cool stuff. Like we've got a lot of people say they don't like regular G stripes. I'm like, look, man, you ever seen banana G stripes? Are pretty for pets.
Yeah,
so
banana G stripes are dope.
Yeah, I've got super banana G stripe het clown male at home, puts in a lot of work, makes some cool animals, you know. But yeah, the Kiki project, man, I still think there's something there. I mean, I like some of the stuff Ozzy made with it. I liked a lot of it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep working that. And you talk about hypo. I like to put hypo on everything.
Oh, I love hypo. Hypo is my favorite, just because it makes everything look better. Like I can only think of a few genes to where hypo doesn't add value. Like,
agreed.
Just a handful, like maybe 2. Like, other than that, man, hypo always brings something to the table.
Yeah,
and then it looks good the whole time, like the entire life. Like I got a girl, she looked just as good, and I got her in 2020. That was one of my only like good pickups in 2020, at least early 2020. She looked just as good as the day that I got her, and she 3 clutches in.
Yeah, and probably still goes every year.
Yeah,
you want, like my hypo girls are consistent. You know, like a lot of people are wiping pastel out of there. It's cool if you don't like it. It's great. I don't have a lot of it, but I do have a couple girls that have it in it, and 2 of them are hypo, and man, but they make nice babies every year. I mean, they don't. I'm not going to try to make some super pastel basic hypo or anything, but you know, if I'm gonna throw it in there with some cypress, I'm gonna make some cool cypress OD stuff. I mean, I love it, man. I do. You know, finally, my sunset hypo male's finally slamming food. That dude's, you know, about 600 grams, so he should go here soon.
Oh, nice.
He was slow, man. Like he took his time. You know, we've got some stranger hypo clown stuff that I like it. They said I'm on the books with you. We definitely got a really nice line. We try to work it. I'm trying to make some super OD hypo stuff just to have, you know, I want a super OD male and female, just something kind of put some new genes in there, man.
I feel you.
If you make supers or not, but
oh yeah, I love super stuff. I love act like super stuff. That's a big part of what I'm doing is like the supers and the act like supers and working those into multi-recessive projects, like hard animals to hit. Because I forget who I was talking with about this, but probably like everybody who I talk to, because anytime I can hop on my soapbox and say this, I do. But I feel like people don't give enough respect to the supers and the act like supers. They just as hard to hit as the recessives because it's the same math, you know what I mean? And then when you throw in the fact that like sometimes there's issues with some supers, and so you have to be careful what you're working with, like in certain complexes, like all that comes into play. You don't want to make an all white animal. You don't want to make an animal that's gonna have like a wobble or be lethal. Like it's a lot of thought process that goes into like the whole super and the act like super game. And then like mathematically speaking, you hit let's say you hit a freeway hypo clown, right?
Yeah.
Mathematically, that's a triple.
Man. I mean, look at everybody talks asphalt clowns, super asphalt clowns. I think that's a triple.
That's a double.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the super asphalt, I got our first ever clutch we hit 2. Man, I thought we were having a party. It was like, oh, that's the basic super asphalt. Like, why do you want so much? I'm like, no, how hard that animal wants to hit. Like,
Yeah.
That wasn't, hey, I just popped them together and hit a super asphalt. You know what I mean? I mean, we've got some super asphalt chocolate stuff. I'm super gravels. People talk about that, man. I want to make a super gravel clown just to work with, so you know what you're getting.
They look nice. They look really nice.
Yeah, super chocolates. You know, that's one thing in the Desert Ghost project. That's probably the only single recessive Desert Ghost that I'm going to try to make this season is super chocolates. That's it. I mean, we just hit some GHI Desert Ghost. GHI is one of those genes, in my opinion, that kind of acts like a super gene almost. It's real strong. It's a strong gene. But 6 out of 7 eggs, all GHI. You know, I'm going to try to make some super GHI Desert Ghost next year. Those will be the 2 singles I do. And then I'm going to throw them in the DG Clown stuff. Because it's just it's something to work with, man. But it is not easy. Look, I still haven't hit a super OD clown. I've hit some regular super OD stuff, but no clown. No hype.
Neither have I.
I've missed it the last 2 seasons. I'm going to try it again this year. If I miss it again, I might just sell some stuff and buy one. I mean, you know, it's like, it's a matter of pride. Like, I want to make that, but at some point, man, how many eggs are you wasting trying to make that? I don't know, man. If my wife lets me do it, I'll do it. You know, so that's what we were talking about pairings last night. I don't know if you planned your pairings out.
Oh yeah,
I'm
for sure.
planned out until like 26, but I got 2 separate spreadsheets. I got one that I do that's my consistent, and then I've got one I play with all the time. And I think she gets a headache, man. I know she's busy at work. She'll be with clients, and I'll be sending her these spreadsheets. I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? And I'll get left on red for a little bit till I get home. And I'm like, okay, maybe the 3rd time wasn't a charm today. So, but no, man.
Yeah, I look at I do it in the spreadsheet too. I love working in spreadsheets. But yeah, I'll do my plan like for the year, but I'll revisit it too and make sure that still makes sense, and just kind of think about like, for example, like let's say a male not really doing what he need to do, then like I'll look and see and think about like a backup male, and can I still work that same project, or do I have to take this girl like a whole nother direction? So I'm like constantly like reanalyzing it throughout the year.
Yeah, I always said I would never double pair a girl. I always said I would never pair a girl to one boy and then another one. Well, I found out quick that doesn't happen. Sometimes, sometimes you got to do it, man.
Right.
I mean, I've had females just wouldn't lock anybody, so I paired her up with my super special head clown. I thought he turned out not head clown, but you know how it is, man. So I paired him to him. Next thing you know, it's like that dude never locked. Well, I had a bunch of dual sire clutch. First time I ever hit that, you know, and you got to kind of be flexible, bend it around. I mean, that's what I do. I've got a spreadsheet with what I want to make, and then I've got one over here that I kind of put backups, you know, and it keeps you sane, you know, going through all that. Because I used to write it all in notebooks. Like my wife, like, man, you come to my job. I'm a mechanic, man, so you know, that's my day job. I run a shop, so I'm in there doing heavy equipment. And for the few minutes I don't get to sit at my computer a lot, but they gave me a manager title, you know, so I can do some administrative stuff. So I come in there, I'm sitting at the computer, you know, looking at emails, and I'm over here on Excel on the other side and writing notes. Nobody in my job really, they don't care. They don't have any idea what they're looking at. It's not like they walk in, man. But yeah, if you visit my shop right now and pull out any notebook, I guarantee you're going to have some type of
snake stuff.
Yeah, there's still stuff from 21 in there, 20. Like 2021, at the end of 20, I was like, you know, that would be a cool snake to own. Start with the normal, man. $50. Best $50 we ever spent, I think.
I want to say big shout out to Jamie real quick. We was actually talking about this in the Double Clutch Patreon chat the other day too. And like, this is also one of the reasons why we started the show, and I love when people say stuff like this, and I really appreciate it, man. I'm super humble, super appreciative of people giving like this kind of feedback, because at the end of the day, that's one of the major goals of what we're trying to do is help people. And so when people say, hey, your podcast was the first podcast I listened to, or I took this from your podcast, or I took that from your podcast, like that's super rewarding. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, given that was one of the goals, was to provide like value to people, it's super rewarding to hear that hitting the target with people. So big shout out to Jamie.
Yours is the first podcast I listened to. So
Oh man, appreciate
that, man. I seen that Troy was going to be on there, man. So I was trying to support, and this is the first one I've been on, man. So hey, there we go.
Full circle.
Yeah. I see Troy. He was talking about he misses Kylo and then Constrictors. Ed wants that Lesser Desert Ghost. I snatched this Lesser Desert Ghost from Bob. Ed Coffin from Constrictors. We went out there and visited, man. And Bob's like, I got this Lesser Desert Ghost, and I thought he was talking to me. He was talking to Ed. I snatched that thing quick. But yeah, I got my wife on the other computer, and they were talking about Detroit. He said he misses Kylo. That's that banana blade clown I got from him. But man, we took that guy. Dude, it was awesome, man. He said, "Hey, do you want a clown?" Because at the time, a breeder clown male was expensive, man.
Yeah.
Think about it. That was 21, late 21. So that boy has sired 7 clutches for us. The very first clutch he hit was a banana. High intensity OD was the female I bought, man. And I sold them babies for $800 a piece, man, that year. And everyone was like, "That's cheap." I was like, "Yeah, cool." Now, not so much, but I remember that was the first animal we ever sold, was an $800 banana. I was like, "Man, we're gonna be rich."
We're gonna be rich.
Like in the back of my head, I was like, I'm not in it for the money, but I was thinking, I'm gonna pay off all my bills. I'm gonna start working the job full time. And look, man, that's the goal. Everybody that gets into it, I think, on a level kind of like what we do, it'd be nice if it just paid all your bills. I can do that, but for now, I'm happy doing what we got to do, man. I mean, down the road, if it does, and I get to the point where I can do this full time, well, more, it's already full time, you know what I mean? But just the only full time.
The only full time.
If I get to that point, yeah, great, man. If not, I'm going to keep doing it. As long as my wife supports me and I got her. I mean, this other little one, the other one was a little older when we got into it, man. But this one here, I can train from the beginning. So I'm going to get her straight. And that girl loves everything. Every animal is baby. So, and it's just one of those things, man. I love it. I'm glad you brought me on to talk about it. And I hope other people watching this can understand that by all means, this hobby is not dead. It's not dying. It's not going anywhere. Just because somebody tells you that animal isn't going to do this or that, if you like it, man, and it keeps you happy, keep that animal. If you look through your collection right now, it may not be your most expensive animal, your best produced animal. There's something in there like that fire pewter that you love, man. You're like, I can't get rid of it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll sell both those inchies today. I am not attached. Not attached at all, man. But that normal girl we got, that first one from Detroit, she'll never leave. That banana clown I got from him, he'll never leave. Man, do what you like, man.
Yeah, that fire pewter, she not going nowhere. She was in that first, because we picked up 4 snakes at the beginning, the first pickup. She not going nowhere. She can chill here. Like I said, man, she got her own enclosure. She living her best life. It's not always the most expensive or the most gene packed animal too. It's your favorite animal, even within your breeding stuff. You know what I mean? It could be something that's relatively simple. It's just super cool. Dang, I really, really like this. You know what I mean? And so you got to do what makes you happy, what you're passionate about, and just kind of do stuff that you really, really love. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's gonna start feeling like work. It's gonna start feeling like a burden. But just think about what you love and make sure that the moves that you're making are pushing you in that direction. That was my mistake. Like I said earlier, it's I was just buying stuff all over the place just because it was cool. But once I got a direction, right, and everybody's direction is different. Some people like this project, some people like that project, but get stuff that fits within your vision, your ultimate goals, and work towards that. If that makes sense.
That's 100%. Like I said, my wife wasn't there with the little one. I'd make her come in here because she would tell you. She tells people all the time, if you like that animal, keep it. Point blank, if this is what you want, get it. She still does it. Look, some of the best animals we've ever had were impulse buys. She thought was amazing. She bought them. And now look, they're making some amazing stuff. It's just, it's a hobby. It's a hobby that can pay the bills. So, and hobbies are supposed to be fun. You know what I mean?
100%.
And, 100%. And, for me, this hobby's fun. Look, man, I like cars too. I like cars, motorcycles, all that stuff. But, man, I like animals. I love animals. And, I love I got a car sitting in the driveway I haven't worked on all year because I'm busy working in the state building. You know what I mean? We got a square body in the driveway just sitting there waiting on me to finish it. But I'll get to it one day. In the meantime, I'm gonna make some cool animals, man. Maybe I'll make something cool and I can sell it and have somebody else fix that truck. I'm just saying. You know, that's it. So I mean, in a nutshell, I'm happy, man. Like, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, 4 years ago, would I be JLP Morphs with my wife, or would I even be? If you'd asked me 10 years ago, would I have a wife that hot and smart? No, dude. No, I would have definitely told you no. But literally, I mean, I would have been an idiot. I mean, I would have been doing that thing. It's a full life, you know. You're going to be busy. You're going to put some work in. But it's like you said, when you see that pip or you cut that egg and that head, you know, you get that head stamp and you're like, man, I know what I just hit, you know. And you can't wait for that snake to come out. Like right when I get home, I can't wait to see if those Batman came out and it's what we want, you know. Like I'm pumped about that. To see what my wife, I mean, she made some crazy stranger stuff with, you know, I mean, they got pied markings. It's like, that's not pied. I don't know why it's got a ringer, you know, but there's no pied in it. So then it makes you start thinking, like, did we mess up and put something else in there? But a couple of those babies got ringers and stuff, you know. Like, what stranger does that? Just cool stuff, man. I'll be sending those pictures to Josh probably. Like, hey, man, what is this? That's where all my stranger stuff, most of my stranger stuff came from Josh over at Ball Python Shed, you know.
Yeah, send me that stranger calico picture too.
Yeah, I just posted it on. I think I just posted on my Instagram today. It was I can't remember if it was the first one out in 25 or the last one out. It was pretty close to midnight, man, when he came out of the egg. And we took some really crappy pictures. It was late. 12 o'clock's late for us, man. We're getting up there.
You say you just posted it?
Yeah,
or you posted it earlier?
Yeah, on Instagram today.
Okay, yeah, I'm about to check that out because I hadn't seen it yet, but I definitely want to see that. It sounds dope, so definitely looking forward to it. And speaking of dope, man, this whole episode has been super dope, man. Definitely been looking forward to it all week. Glad I got a chance to meet you in person. It's not often that I get to meet folks in person before they come in the podcast, so it's kind of like flipped it on me. But super cool, man. Definitely appreciate you coming on. Like I said, everybody was super excited when they heard you're going to be on the episode. So I knew this was going to be a good one to remember, man.
Hopefully I didn't let them down, man. I appreciate it. When you asked me, it made that New Year started off right, man. So I was excited. You know, and I look forward to, I know we'll see you at Bob's show for sure.
For sure.
You know, and then we got a couple coming up, man. So I'm going to be around. We're not going anywhere, man. JLP Morphs is just going to get better. It's going to get bigger. Always going to keep the same type of care, man. And we're just, you know, couple little might be some good projects coming up. Just keep an eye on that Instagram. We're gonna work social a little harder, maybe start a YouTube. I might hit you up for some pointers, man.
Okay, I got you, dog.
Yeah, I got to get a mic and some earmuffs. My wife tells me my voice, she's like, your voice is muffly. I'm like, that's just because I'm manly. Can't help it. I'm getting over a cold, man. Like we were sick all Christmas, bro. I'm like, man, come on. So it makes your voice a little deeper, very whited. But yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, everybody, for watching. All my friends that have been messaging on here, I'll see you guys soon. Troy, Balls and Stripes Python, man, I owe you a lot. So I always appreciate that. So he knows it. I'll be over there shopping soon, man. I'm going to come over there. I love Troy's, but I'll just pull up in the drawers. I'm that guy. If you let me in your collection, don't tell me those are holdbacks because that's where I'm going. I'm that holdback right, man. So, every time. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully we can do it again soon, man. Next time we'll bring my wife on.
For sure. Yeah, that'd be super dope. That'd be super dope.
She's the face, man. You know, she's the face and the brains. She's way prettier than I am, way smarter. So, and a little bit more articulate. So I think you'll enjoy it. And she's got a good sense of humor, man. I'll make sure she comes up and talks to you at Bob's show.
All right,
she's a little shy. She's going to do a podcast. It's going to be yours first. I promise you that.
I think I met her in Atlanta, though.
You did, yeah. She was over there working. Man, she was selling animals. So yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Doing all the hard work.
You guys see us, come talk to us at the show, man. We will always be thankful for everybody. Thank anybody for buying from us. Like I said, you buy from me once, you get a discount for life. Always. So I always look at it. Unless it's like $25 animal, man, which happens sometimes. That thing ain't gonna be 20, okay? It's 25. That's my rock bottom, okay? So, all right, Mike.
That's what's up, man. Maybe one of these days in the future we can get you on for the state property episode. When we bring like 3-4 guests on from one state and just really kind of chat it up. That'll be real dope. That'll be super dope. Like get Troy in and somebody else too.
got Troy, Coffin
Maybe
Critters,
Leviathan.
I got a,
Mhm.
I got friends, Wide Eye Morphs. All those guys are all local, man. My buddy Mike's just getting started in it. Another Mike Canetto, he just got started out there in Lugol, man. So we're all close.
For
Everybody
sure.
knows who Leviathan is. They know Troy's blowing up, man. Troy is he's a good dude. But Coffin's Critters, all of us, man. Yeah, you let us know. We'll be there anytime you're ready.
For sure. So before we get out of here, tell everybody where they can find you.
JLP Morphs, Instagram, do a little bit on Facebook. We're out here in South Carolina, so all the local shows. South Carolina, North Carolina, we're doing some Florida shows. Don't hesitate if you want to know what show we're eventing. Hit me up on Instagram. I will message you back quick, I promise, as fast as possible. So the next show we're doing is Bob's show, the Southeast Reptile Expo. And then after that, we will be doing the All-American. We'll be doing that show right there in Charlotte again. And then if all goes well, hopefully we'll be in Dallas and ARBC in March. So
okay. So I'll see you in February and April.
Yeah, you'll be seeing me soon, man. I promise. We're going to get out there. Look, I don't like sitting around. So if you ever need something, guys, message me. Message my wife. You're looking for something special. If I don't have it, I got good friends that do. I promise you. So 100%. Get them a good animal. That's
Facts. And big shout out to everybody for coming through, checking out the live tonight. Big shout out to the replay game. Let us know you here when you watching it. Drop us a comment, #replay game, something to let us know you here. Again, man, appreciate everybody in the live chat tonight. If you didn't notice, I was controlling the comments myself. And so I was rolling solo tonight. So you probably did notice because I skipped probably about 100 comments. I was like, man, I ain't gonna never catch up. I got to pay attention to what Jay's saying. But I was rolling solo dolo tonight because Takara couldn't make it tonight, man. But still, big shout out to Takara. Appreciate everything you do. Again, man, thank you for coming on. It's been a super dope conversation. Definitely looking forward to the next run. But until then, man, for Collects Conversations, I'm Mike. This is Jay, the lovely lady behind the scenes. It's Takara. Thank y'all for coming out. Be blessed. Peace.
Happy New Year, everybody. 2025.
Happy New Year. Yes, sir.
All right. Good night.